This week on a special edition of Inside Boulder News, we take a look back at 2018 and revisit stories and people who make living, working, and playing in Boulder exciting, educational, and inspiring. Welcome to Inside Boulder News, your source for all things Boulder. I'm Jocelyn Avendaño. 2018 was quite the year. We start off this week with a look back at one of the most talked about topics of the year. Boulder City Council made a unanimous vote in the May 15th council meeting to ban the sale and possession of assault weapons, bump stocks, and high-capacity magazines within city limits. Earlier this year, we sat down with Tom Carr, Boulder City Attorney, to learn more about the ban, which is now in effect. Hundreds gathered Thursday night for the April 5th public hearing on assault weapons. More than 150 people signed up to speak for and against the proposed ban during the more than 5-hour-long meeting. The proposed ordinance would ban both the possession and sale of assault weapons in the city. Council's goal is to minimize the risk of mass shootings and protect students in the city of Boulder. We sat down with Boulder City Attorney Tom Carr to learn more about this proposed ordinance.
One of the questions we've gotten from a lot of people is this illegal? Can the city do this? Because there's a state law that says that by its language prohibits local governments from banning guns.
However, Boulder is a home rule city. And under Colorado's Constitution, on matters of local concern, a home rule city is equal to the state. This means that the city can pass an ordinance like banning assault weapons because it's a matter of local concern.
There is some confusion out there because the language of state law seems to prohibit the city from doing this, but in fact, as a home rule city, we would assert the city has a right. Because of course, the concern is for the safety of our children, and that is a matter of intense local concern.
The proposed ban comes in the wake of the recent school shooting in a Florida high school that left 17 students and staff dead. Council decided that it was time to consider a ban on assault weapons. Between 1994 to 2004, the United States federal government had banned assault weapons in the entire country. That ban was lifted after the 10-year period.
It's important to note that the courts have said that assault weapons are not protected by the Second Amendment, as opposed to handguns. The Supreme Court said that you can't ban handguns because there's a constitutional right to self-defense, but they have excluded military-style weapons from that ban.
The proposed ban would have certain exclusions. Those exempt from the ordinance would be police officers, military members, as well as competitive shooters and anybody who has a federal arms license.
This is more concerned with the deterrent effect of having easy availability of assault weapons to people who perhaps are mentally ill or predisposed to commit some sort of horrible crime. And most of the mass killings that I've looked at, the guns were purchased legally. And that's troubling, and I think that's what Council wants to address.
Council decided that they will deliberate the measure at a future undetermined meeting and discuss next steps as to where to go next with the proposed ordinance. The proposed ban is not currently in effect.
This in any way reduces, by even the smallest measure, the likelihood that there's a mass shooting in Boulder. It will be a very important ordinance. And that's really the goal.
September of 2018 marked 5 years since Boulder experienced what is known as a 1,000-year rainfall event. In just a matter of days, Boulder received a year's worth of rain, causing widespread flooding across the city and all along the Front Range. 14% of Boulder's housing stock flooded, as well as various businesses and city facilities. Join us as we take a look at where Boulder stands today after 2013's devastating floods. From September 11th through September 15th of 2013, the Front Range region, including the city of Boulder, experienced significant rainfall that resulted in flooding, a loss of life, and damage that to this day the city is still recovering from.
All 15 drainage ways and creeks in Boulder flooded, as well as lots of areas outside of our floodplains where people's basements filled up with water. There were sewer backups in people's homes. Overall, 6,000 housing units in the city flooded.
The flood left widespread impacts across the city. The city's parks, as well as open space trails, sustained serious damage, as well as the city's sewer and water systems. While most of flood recovery efforts have been complete, city staff alongside community partners continue to work together on moving forward.
The city is about 98% complete with our infrastructure repairs. We've got just a few projects left, so it's been a long road repairing our infrastructure. We've spent about $27 million on infrastructure repairs.
Majority of homeowners have since moved back into their homes, though some continue to pay off for damages left behind. It's been a long road to recovery, but
we're looking pretty good, and we're focused a lot on how we can be more resilient for the future.
While the city continues to work on its flood mitigation efforts, it's also important for community members to do the same. Andrew Notbaum with Boulder's Office of Emergency Management tells us it's important to have an emergency plan in case of another flood event.
And that preparedness includes having a plan, communicating with your family where you have a meeting place, having a kit with important supplies and documents, plan to be away from your home for 48 hours at a minimum.
We're the #1 flash flood risk in the state of Colorado, so there's always a chance of a flood, so it's important that people be prepared. And we've done a lot of work in this community to prepare ourselves for floods, and we're going to continue to do that work.
To learn more about September's 2013 floods and other recovery efforts that have been done, please visit the website seen on screen. After nearly 3 years of construction, the Wunderland Creek project is finally complete and the community came out to celebrate.
This project was a flood mitigation project for approximately 1 mile of the Wunderland Creek, starting up at Winding Trail all the way down here, just further down from where we're standing to Foothills Parkway. And it included channel improvements of that stretch of creek to convey the 100-year flood flows.
These improvements will help reduce the flood risk of numerous surrounding structures and dwelling units that are currently located within the 100-year floodplain. This area received significant damage during the 2013 floods.
Fortunately, no lives were lost, but extensive damage up by 28th and Winding Trail. And before this project, the creek discharged or entered the irrigation ditch and caused extensive flooding on the other side of Foothills Parkway.
This project has actually separated those flows, which is going to be really important for the folks downstream of us to help protect them.
The $30 million project includes 3 new underpasses that provide safe passage for pedestrians and cyclists. Over 1,000 trees and shrubs were also replanted.
I so much appreciate the patience that this neighborhood has dealt with for the 2 years of construction in their backyard, but it is so gratifying.
For more information on the Wunderland Creek project, head on over to the website seen on your screen. Boulder takes tremendous pride in its environmental efforts. The city's goal is to reduce the waste we create and then reuse, recycle, and compost most of what we throw away, both as a community and a city organization. Boulder's Public Works Department has envisioned a way to not only be environmentally friendly, but save some taxpayer money. These big mountains of dirt piled in the city's Municipal Service Center yard has saved the city a significant amount of taxpayer money for the last 3 years.
In 2017, we estimated it was about $1.6 million in savings.
That's Josh Meck, Boulder's Utilities Superintendent. Since 2015, he and the city's Public Works Department have been recycling materials such as concrete, including sidewalk panels and asphalt, after repairing and replacing water mains. These materials then go on to be refined and repurposed for other maintenance needs.
A contractor comes in with a big grinder, and they'll take 1 scoop of earth basically to 2 scoops of concrete or asphalt, and they just blend it into a Class 6 backfill.
The recycled material is used for backfilling all utilities excavations such as water main replacement, water main breaks, and sewer repairs. By recycling, the city has not only been resourceful by reusing the material, but they have also reduced landfill costs to dispose of removed material.
A big push was not having utility staff haul dirt to the landfill that we can reuse.
In the project's 3 years, the city has repurposed over 50,000 tons of material that would have otherwise ended up in the landfill.
We've probably used around 9,000 tons this year. We'll use the entire pile behind me this year.
Innovations like this keep Boulder on track to reach its zero waste goal of 85% diversion from the landfill by 2025. To learn more about the city's zero waste goals, please visit zerowasteboulder.com. Homelessness is a top priority for the city of Boulder. The homelessness strategy adopted in June of 2017 seeks to achieve 6 key goals, such as expanding pathways to permanent housing and retention, and expanding access to programs and services to reduce or prevent homelessness. In this next piece, we take a look at the city's new adult homeless services system. In October of 2017, the city, along with county-wide partners, launched a new adult homeless services system, Homeless Solutions for Boulder County. The goal of the system is to help people with not just services, but solutions to exit homelessness. So far, 189 people were able to exit homelessness in the city, 234 countywide. Coordinated entry is the first step and gateway to this new system. In Boulder, services are located at 2691 30th Street. Anyone looking for homeless services in Boulder must go through coordinated entry to access shelter and services.
Through coordinated entry, people's needs, their resources, the strengths that they have can really be assessed right away so that from day one in our city, they can get matched with the right services, get on the right path.
Those screened at coordinated entry as moderate or high need with longer residency in Boulder County will be referred to Housing Focused Shelter, a program at Boulder Shelter for the Homeless. Those screened as lower need or who have been in Boulder a short time will be referred to Path to Home Navigation Services, a program that's part of Bridge House. Both of these programs work with clients on plans to exit homelessness. These screenings usually take about 15 to 20 minutes.
Coordinated entry and the coordinated entry services that have been taking place here at the 30th Street site is a great opportunity for our partners at Boulder Shelter for the Homeless and Bridge House to work together in identifying client needs and giving that warm handoff to get people into services as effectively and quickly as possible.
In the first 7 months of the new system, nearly 1,600 people completed coordinated entry in Boulder County. Over half of those screened have been in the county at least a year. 70% of those screened have a disabling condition. Chad Moulter with Boulder Shelter for the Homeless explains the screening process.
Our staff ask a group of questions about an individual's history of homelessness, also whether or not they have ties to the Boulder area, and then there are a few questions about whether or not they have a disability or not. And so we use the answers to those questions to determine which services that they're eligible for.
Coordinated entry is available from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on weekdays and weekends, except for Tuesdays when it is available from noon to 4 p.m. This service is for adults. Clients with children will be referred to appropriate organizations in the community, including the Emergency Family Assistance Association, Attention Homes, and Mother House. Since the purchase of the former Boulder Community Health Campus in December of 2015, the city has been working on a planning process to guide the redevelopment of the 8-acre site. Recently, city staff updated community members on the planning process of the Alpine project in a workshop. Staff hopes to come up with a draft of the area plan in July of 2019. The Carruthers Biotechnology building became home to the Alpine Blossom workshop on Monday night, where community members got the chance to weigh in and learn more about this long-term project.
Alpine Blossom is a really incredible opportunity. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity for redevelopment, and it's a really key investment that the community is going to be making.
During the workshop, attendees sat through a brief presentation where city staff provided information on the progress of the project and where they stood in the planning process. Afterwards, community members were presented with different scenarios that illustrate trade-offs that will need to be made related to the city-owned property.
We showed some different ways that could be configured, different mixes, different types, different intensities, and talked to people about what that meant and what those trade-offs would be and what those opportunities would be. So we got some good feedback on those things.
From housing to civic facilities, community members had a wide range of interests that were most important to them for the Alpine Blossom project, which provided a big learning opportunity for city staff.
We learned that there's a wide range of viewpoints about this site. I think that we also learned that folks want to dig deeper, they want to know more information about it. They asked a lot of great questions.
Feedback gathered in the workshop will be presented for analysis to Planning Board and City Council at a later date.
We'll have the materials that we shared tonight and the questionnaire on Be Heard Boulder. We're also hosting some office hours, some drop-in out office hours if folks want to actually come and talk to a staff member and take a look at the materials.
More information on the Alpine Blossom project can be found on BeHeardBoulder.org. Another project the city has been working on is the Ponderosa Mobile Home Park. Since the 2017 purchase of the site, the city has been working with residents to find ways to maintain the affordability of Ponderosa and avoid the displacement of residents. We caught up with Ponderosa project manager Crystal Launder earlier this year to get an update on the project. The city of Boulder purchased the Ponderosa Mobile Home Park in August of 2017 for the purposes of annexing the property into the city and to replace and improve failing infrastructure, as well as to preserve the community as permanently affordable. The concept plan for the Ponderosa project was presented to Council in the August 23rd special meeting.
The distinct feature, I would say, of this concept plan is that it's going to be phased, and phased actually over many years. The first phase will begin with annexation, and immediately after annexation, we plan to go under construction on basic infrastructure like sewer and water.
Crystal Launder, project manager for the Ponderosa Community Stabilization Project, says staff anticipates the redevelopment process taking upwards to a decade, though sewer and water infrastructure work should be completed within 2 years.
Soon thereafter, we're planning on adding some new housing on the western side of the property. What's there currently is some basically underutilized land. We're thinking that about 16 homes will be added there.
Ponderosa residents will have the option to transition from their existing homes to the new permanently affordable fixed foundation homes. Part of the concept plan also includes community amenities such as green space, play areas, and a community house.
Overall, the council was supportive of the concept plan. The primary next step is that we prepare our site plan and then move it through site plan and annexation. And also, we're planning on having a couple of workshops.
The site plan is anticipated to be ready for submittal over the next couple of months. To learn more about the Ponderosa Community Stabilization Project, visit the website seen on screen. And coming up next, this Boulder preschool is harvesting waste for a healthier lifestyle. And we'll tell you about this Boulder's residents' unprecedented donation. We'll be right back.
My recommendation for the motoring public would first and foremost would be just to slow down. Leave plenty of space behind the snowplows, about 200 to 300 feet or 3 or 4 car lengths. Just because conditions appear to be okay for you to increase speed doesn't mean they necessarily are. I mean, what would you rather have? Would you rather sit behind us and make it maybe take 10 minutes more? Or you total your car and you never get there?
Welcome back. The Housing Legacy Program facilitates the donation or request of Boulder's homeowners wishing to leave a legacy of affordable homeownership for the next generation. In May of 2017, Janice Elazo, a tireless volunteer for the city and creator of Housing Legacy, was the first to commit to donate her home to the program. Now 1 year later, another long-term Boulder resident has followed suit. Lynn Mead shares her story with us. Lynn Mead, a Boulder resident since 1992, has always been one to plan ahead, and this meant figuring out what she would do with her home when she no longer needed it.
I thought of other options in terms of leaving my house, not only to a friend, but I could have left it to an organization that would then have handled the sale of it, et cetera, and it seemed so complicated when I know that the city of Boulder has as a very high priority right now the offering of affordable housing.
And while she has no intentions of leaving soon,
I have friends who say, "Oh, you're leaving your house to affordable housing. Does this mean you're expecting to go soon?" I say, "No, it's just something I'm preparing for."
With no one in Mead's immediate family to inherit her home, donating it to the city's Housing Legacy Program was the right thing to do.
I feel a responsibility, a legacy, if you will, after I'm gone, that my life is not just for the time during which I am alive. It's, for lack of a better phrase, to make the world a better place. And this is a simple way to do it, I think.
Mead is the second Boulder resident to donate her home to the Housing Legacy Program, a program created by fellow Boulder resident Janice Elazo.
It's delightful to have Lynn join the project. I've gotten an appreciation for how much more complex this is in terms of people, not the paperwork, but that people coming to a decision on their own that they want to leave their house for permanently affordable housing.
The Housing Legacy Program is enabled by the donation of homes or real estate from individuals, corporations, and other organizations. Donations or bequests enable the program to make affordable residential housing in Boulder a reality for future generations. For more information on the city's Housing Legacy program, please visit the website seen on your screen. It's no secret that Boulder is home to some of the most innovative businesses and nonprofits in the nation, many of them eager to collaborate and support the community. The Dushanbe Tea House, a Boulder staple for 20 years, is just one of many city partnerships that contribute to the vibrancy of the community. From the hand-carved pillars and original oil paintings covering the interior to the exterior featuring ceramic tiles, there is no question why the Dushanbe Tea House is one of the most visited sites in Boulder. And the story how the tea house got to Boulder is as unique as the building itself.
It was a gift from our sister city, Dushanbe, in the late 1980s, and it is the only one of its kind in the Western Hemisphere.
Boulder established a sister city relationship with Dushanbe, Tajikistan, which was one of the most southern parts of the Soviet Union at the time. When the city of Boulder and Dushanbe finalized their agreement, both cities exchanged gifts.
Their gift to us was they were going to build us a tea house that represented their culture, that was a major part of every one of their communities, and we were going to give them a Boulder-style restaurant.
Lenny Martinelli and his wife have been owners of the tea house since its inception 20 years ago. But what many may not know is that Three Leaf Concepts, the management group the Martinellis created, and the city are in a partnership together, a partnership that has proven beneficial to both parties as well as the larger communities.
In the most basic terms, the city is the landlord of the Dushanbe Tea House, and Huckleberry Foods or Three Leaf Concepts is our tenant. They had to do not only to operate the restaurant, they had to emphasize the cultural significance of the tea house, create a gathering place in the tradition of Tajikistan tea houses, and then enhance the sister cities relationship.
It didn't bother us to want to work with the city. And in hindsight, working with the city has just been it's been a great experience. They've been an awesome partner for us, and for them as landlords, I couldn't ask for a better landlord.
The relationship between the city and Three Leaf Concepts is just one of hundreds of city partnerships that are contributing to the vibrancy of the community. To take a look at all the other partnerships the city is involved in, check out bouldercolorado.gov/city partnerships. This year, the city launched a pilot program called Chats with Council. It's an idea that City Council started talking about in 2017 and formalized January of 2018. We spoke to engagement manager Sarah Hundley to find out more. Chats with Council provides an informal way for the community to interact with their elected officials, a chance to drop in, ask questions, and share what's on your mind.
We know that community members, and frankly council members too, get frustrated at the formal settings that they have, study sessions and public hearings and open comment during regular meetings.
Even if people can attend council meetings, there's very little time or opportunity for a meaningful dialogue. But in Chats with Council, people will have the opportunity for meaningful one-on-one discourse with council members.
They are intended to be very informal, so we want people to understand this will not be like a council meeting. You will not have council members sitting on a dais. We're anticipating having a room full of chairs in a round circular pattern so that anybody can join the conversation and participate in the conversation.
Council members will be available to chat, and people may come and go during the 2-hour time block. 2 to 3 council members will be at each event, and council members Joe Grano and Bob Yates will be in attendance on February 22nd.
There are no ground rules. We'll talk about anything that people want to talk about. There's not going to be limited to a theme or particular topic. We want to hear what people have to say, and we're going to undoubtedly learn a lot from our community about what is on their mind.
A really productive democracy is one where you have a responsive government, responsive elected officials who understand the issues that matter most to the public they're serving, as well as an engaged citizenry, people who are willing to come and voice their thoughts, tell us about their hopes and their dreams for the city of Boulder, tell us about their concerns.
For more information, please visit the City of Boulder's website at bouldercolorado.gov/engage. The City of Boulder and its community partners had important questions to answer regarding downtown Boulder.
What's really happening downtown? There are a lot of things, people get concerns. What's really happening downtown? What's happening in the broader context of retail? We hear a lot about online purchasing. What's the reality? How does that impact our businesses?
So in collaboration with various economic vitality partners, the city began the retail and revenue study to answer those questions.
Our downtown is a very important bellwether. It's traditionally been a retail center. It continues to be a place of gathering for events for our community, and it's a really strong destination for visitors to our town.
To ensure the downtown area continues to be a vibrant place for businesses and the Boulder economy, the city conducted a study to assess trends, themes, and recommendations for potential actions the city could take.
There are a lot of recommendations about affordability, how the city and the Downtown Boulder Partnership can assist businesses, make sure that we maintain the variety and really diversity in the interest of the variety of businesses that we have.
The draft study report was presented to 3 of Downtown Boulder's boards. Following feedback from downtown businesses, city staff will share the feedback and recommendations with City Council later in March.
There are things that are currently underway, and we can talk about, some early wins, and there are other things that potentially take more work, potential budget issues, things like that.
For more information on the city's retail and revenue strategy, please visit the website displayed on your screen. Childhood obesity is on the rise nationwide. Roughly 20% of children and teens aged 2 to 19 are considered obese. In an effort to prevent this epidemic, the Children's House Preschool in Boulder has harvested a healthy alternative.
We wrote a grant and put in for a complete program where the children would not only get to plant the seeds and water them and harvest them, but also afterwards get to cook all the vegetables.
Michael Nucky is the executive director at Children's House Preschool and is a recipient of the city's Health Equity Fund. Thanks to this, the school, who serves mainly low-income families, was able to place a vegetable garden right outside their school door.
Food habits get set at a really young age, and the younger you can get children trying different foods and tasting all the different flavors and realizing that vegetables are actually good and tasty, you're going to be able to change their food habits for a lifetime.
Not only has the garden provided the opportunity for kids to learn about vegetables, but it has turned into an outdoor classroom where children get to learn about a variety of subjects.
When they set up, like when they were planting seeds, they were like measuring, we would look at the packets that would say how far between the rows had to be, and we got out a large ruler so they could then sit there and work out sort of where to plant the rows of the different seeds.
Though the garden has been at the Children's House Preschool for a short time, teachers are already noticing the impact.
Children bring their own lunches, and you see as their lunches change, as they want more healthy food, they're calmer children when they're in the classroom, but they also have the energy to go out and be active.
The Museum of Boulder opened earlier this year, giving visitors a glimpse into Boulder's past, present, and future. And recently, the Museum of Boulder opened its doors to their new permanent exhibit called the Boulder Experience, dedicated to all things Boulder. Science, sports, and history are just a few of the things you'll find in the Museum of Boulder's new permanent exhibit, the Boulder Experience.
We are opening to the public this Saturday, November 17th, and we are really excited. This is a project that we've been working on for over 5 years.
The exhibit includes a combination of historical artifacts, interactive technology, and a state-of-the-art experience where visitors can explore everything from the history of the Boulder community to what is going on today.
We feel that it's really important not only for our residents but also for visitors to Boulder to really understand our history and to explore it, be inspired by it, and also sort of think about how we got to where we are today and to think also about where we're going.
Over 100 artifacts are displayed in the exhibit, each one of them describing a tiny part of Boulder's history.
We have some different thematic areas. One area that focuses on the natural foods in our community, the history of it up to today. An area that focuses on science and technology, a section on tech and innovation in Boulder. And then we have these 3 amazing slanted walls that are sort of like the Flatirons in Boulder that highlight the athletics and sports, outdoor sports in our community.
The Boulder Experience is an exhibit for the community, by the community.
It was not just a couple of people, it was many, many people. And we hope that when people come visit, they may recognize a person, they may know somebody who's in the exhibit, or they may see themselves in it and be inspired by it as well.
Thank you so much for joining us on this special edition of Inside Boulder News. If you would like to revisit any of our stories from 2018, visit us on boulderchannel8.com. And remember, you can also connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. And sign up to receive video updates right in your inbox. Just go to boulderchannel8.com and click on subscribe. See you in 2019.